Welcome back with a smiley face. A link is provided in the video description for previous episodes. Giving up on the Alpha. Episode 14. Chapter 146. Dear Goddess, Liana, I gape at her as she gets out of the car. Why are you dressed up as a nun? To visit Edith, of course, she replies nonchalantly, and my jaw hits the floor when Nikki gets out also dressed as a nun. That's not a disguise, I gasp abergast. If anything, that will attract attention. Mom is dying, and we used to go to a Catholic church before she met Sam, Nikki explains, and I am taken aback at how calm she is. A visit from a priest is the most natural thing. But you're not dressed as priests, I argue. No, Liana smiles. But he is. Liana turns around and a man walks closer. Drew. I squint my eyes. Is that you? It's nice to see you again, Adele. Drew hugs me. Goddess, Liana, I laugh heartily. Your creativity has no end. Wow, it's so great seeing all of you. Nikki, how are you doing? Highly medicated, she replies. But healing. And please call me Tara, it's my new identity. It's an honor to meet you, Tara. I lay my hands on her shoulders and look her in the eyes. Welcome. Ladies, shall we get the show on the road? Drew smiles. Nick. Tara, are you sure you're up for it? I ask cautiously. It's going to be terrible, she looks me dead in the eyes. But I want to say goodbye. Okay, I smile softly. Let's go. Liana, Drew and Nikki are sitting quietly in the back as Luther drives us to the hospital. I know Nikki said she is ready to see her mother, but I do not think she knows what is waiting for her. I do not think anything can prepare you for such a sight. Luther parks at the back of the hospital and we climb out. Just follow me, I smile. And I'll cover your back, Luther adds. We're ready, Liana takes Nikki's hand and nods. Except for a couple of nurses, the hospital is quiet. Liana's costumes are brilliant, I realize. Every time a nurse looks our way and notices the priest and nuns, they ignore us and continue what they are doing. All of them know there is only one reason a priest will visit a hospital at this hour. I take a deep breath before opening Edith's door and stand aside for Nikki to enter. She gasps sharply for air and covers her quivering lips with her fingers. For a moment, she only stares at Edith before she walks closer. Oh, Mom, she sniffs as she gently lays her hand on Edith's. Why did you love him more than yourself? Why did you love him more than me? A sob tears through Nikki before she lays her head on Edith's chest. Loudly she weeps for her mother and the sorrow grips my heart. I look at Liana and reach for her hand when I see her tears. Edith might have loved Sam more than Nikki, but she was still her mother. The only mother she had ever known and loved. I forgive you, Nikki cries. I love you and I forgive you. I know you tried, I know you did the best you could. He was just, more. Oh, dear Goddess, this is breaking me. I close my eyes and take deep breaths. I do not like Edith, but damn it, like Nikki. Goodbye, Mommy. Nicolette kisses her forehead gently. I love you. Nikki steps back and instantly Liana's arms are around her and she hugs her tightly. I'm so sorry, Liana's voice is hoarse. So sorry. Nikki clings to Liana as her entire body shakes with tears and sorrow. Suddenly, an alarm goes off and the words code blue echo through the halls. What's that? Nikki sniffs and lets go of Liana. We should get back, Liana says quickly and drags Nikki out of the way just as the doors burst open and a nurse rushes in. She's in cardiac arrest. I can't watch. Nikki buries her face in Liana's neck as more people rush in. You need to get out, a nurse snaps at us. Liana looks at me and nods before we leave the room. Nikki, do you want to stay until it's over? I ask softly once we are outside of the room. No, she shakes her head weakly, turns around and walks away. I'll keep an eye on her, Luther says quickly and follows Nikki. Liana wipes her cheeks. If I feel like crap, I can't imagine what she's feeling. I know, I sniff. This was awful. But she handled it better than I expected. She knew she was saying goodbye, Liana sighs as we start walking towards the car. She was prepared for this and didn't hope for a miracle. The therapy is helping her a lot to come to terms with everything that has happened to her. Did Axel tell you what they found in her LE? I ask softly. About Sam's request to ruin her. Liana snorts. Yes, he has. Man, I wish Sam were alive. The things I would have done to him. I don't even want to know, I snort. Since we're on the topic, Liana looks at me. I need to know everything there is to know about this Davey guy. I looked at his LE after our conversation earlier. I exhale deeply. He's an only child and lives on his own. His mother is in a retirement center, and he visits her every Sunday. No other living relatives, and no pets. He is intelligent and got great marks in school, but his aggressive behavior made people wary of him and he has no friends. Except maybe for the enforcers. The traits of a sociopath. Liana shakes her head. He has or had, I'm not sure, a girlfriend, Hilda, I continue. Not his mate, but they have known each other for the last 4 years. Oh, they're definitely still dating, Liana grimaces and I look at her in surprise. I've spoken to her. How can you possibly know that? I frown. I also did some digging after Axel told me what they found, she smiles wickedly. Did you know that Moonstone has a website? Yeah, sort of, I reply. For the software and computer components. I'm not talking about that one, Liana shakes her head. I'm talking about the one that pops up as an advertisement when you Google free abortion clinic. I called and spoke with a lady named Hilda. She was very informative and helpful. They're doing it for free. I gape at her. That does not make sense at all. The surgeries are supposed to be lucrative and keep the pack out. How is that possible when they do it for free? Where do they get their funding? Well, you don't pay cash for the abortion, Liana's eyes turn dark and angry. You pay with a kidney or half a liver. What? I feel like an imbecile asking the same question over and over, but the information is too disturbing to simply comprehend. You heard me, Liana huffs. There are numerous payment options if you don't have cash. And desperate people do desperate things. More than half of the country doesn't have access to free abortion clinics. And those who do, are faced with protesters at the doors calling them murderers and baby killers. So, they come to Moonstone for an abortion and an organ donation. Moonstone even pays for the transportation and accommodation if you donate an organ. The organ is being sold at a huge pro-T. Enough to cover the operation, the patient's expenses and showing a pro-T. Oh, Moonstone also specializes in liposuction and boob jobs. And Hilda just blurted this out. I ask angrily. How has this been happening for years and nobody knew? When was the last time you Googled abortion clinics? Liana crosses her arms in front of her chest and raises her eyebrows. Well, never, I shrug. Exactly, she smirks. You'll only know when you look for it. And the people looking for it, won't tell because they want to get rid of their unborn. This is disturbing, I rub over my face. I can't believe it's happening here. Hilda was very discreet, Liana continues. When I asked about payment options, she asked for information for a background check. After I committed a little forgery, I mailed her the details. Half an hour later, I received the information on the organs. Regarding the boob jobs and liposuction, it's displayed on the website. A little forgery. I raise my eyebrows. It's easy when you're the Luna, she grins. And when you have plenty of people to help. Patricia Lewis has an appointment in 2 days. If she passes the blood tests, she'll receive a free abortion at the small price for half her liver. Who is Patricia? I groan. Chapter 147. Axel POV. All right, people. Liana calls everyone to order as she enters the room, followed by one of our guards I recognize as Sophie. Meet Patricia, formerly known as Sophie. Are you the one going for a consultation at Moonstone? Luther looks at Sophie. Yes, I am, she nods. Hold on, I shake my head. Sophie, you really are pregnant, it's too dangerous. As your alpha, I'm responsible for your safety and, with all due respect, alpha, Sophie cuts me off and lifts her chin. Helping you get rid of these scumbags creates a better future for my child. I want to do this. Axel, she'll be in no danger, Liana intervenes. She's only going for a checkup and my talents do not include faking a live ultrasound. We need a pregnant female. She's going to gather information and return home. That's it. For the record, I do not like this, I give in reluctantly. Liana has a point, but putting pregnant females in harm's way is not on my to-do list. Duly noted, Sophie nods. And highly appreciated, Alpha. I still chose to go ahead with the plan. What exactly is the plan? Adele frowns. Sophie is leaving for the city in an hour, Liana explains. One of the enforcers will meet her there and take her to Moonstone. After her appointment, they'll take her back to the city. Why the city? Luther asks confused. It's a huge detour. We can hardly reveal I'm from this pack, Sophie smiles. My mother will accompany me. We'll pretend that she's the one insisting on the abortion since it's not my mate's baby. So, she won't be alone, Liana adds. Well, I'll be at Moonstone, and our guards will be just outside the borders if we need them. If there's trouble, Sophie can mind link us and we'll be able to hear her. It's just a consultation, Adele looks at me. The enforcers won't do anything to her until she agrees to the procedure. Except if they realize this is a scam, I grunt. If they do, Sophie can mind link you and I will send every guard I have along with yours to rip their heads off. Adele's eyes blaze erectly. Fine, I agree reluctantly. Let's get this over with. Liana POV. What's the time? Axel asks as he paces up and down. We are all gathered at Adele's house, but he is unable to relax. She's been there for 10 minutes, I say softly. And she mind-linked me 30 minutes ago. Everything is going according to plan. I need a drink, he grunts and walks away. This really eats at him, Adele whispers as she watches him leave. I know, I sigh heavily. Abortions are supposed to be about choice and helping women. The enforcers are doing it for all the wrong reasons, and he hates it. So do I, Adele snorts. They're taking advantage of already vulnerable women. Luna, Sophie mind links me, we're done here. Davey is taking me back to the city now. Davey? I sit up in surprise. Just him, or are there other people as well? Just Davey, she replies. And my mother. Phone me after he drops you off in the city and returns to Moonstone. We'll see you soon, I smile. This is too good to be true, I jump up. What's going on? Adele looks confused. Everything went according to plan, I smile ominously. And the perfect opportunity just presented itself. You'll have to excuse us, I have pigs to feed. You can't do that by yourself, Adele protests. It's too dangerous. Axel will be with me, I reply. But you can't come. You're Moonstone's alpha and can't be involved in what I'm about to do. Liana, don't worry, I place my hands on her shoulders. I'll give you a detailed update when it's over. I do not give her time to reply and walk away. I have been working on plans and ideas for getting to Davey ever since Adele told me about him. Killing him is easy, but killing him beyond pack borders is not so much. I need to get him without leaving a trail to clear Moon. Axel, honey, we need to go. I take the glass out of his hand and place it down. Something went wrong, didn't it? He huffs. On the contrary, I smile. Things are going our way. Come on, I'll explain in the car. We need our guards, I say as I get into the car and take out my phone. I can't shift and will be of no help. Goddess, Liana, Axel grunts. Help with what? Grabbing Davey, of course, I reply as the phone rings. David answers my call after the second ring, and I quickly give him instructions. Now, I put my phone away and explain my plan. All we have to do is capture the fool. What makes you think he'll stop? Axel frowns. Why would he care about an accident scene? Are you kidding me? I smirk. We might need organs and he has the supply. You're as magnificent as you're scary, Axel smirks, and we turn towards the city. David and his men fall in behind us and we continue that way for a couple of miles before Axel pulls off the road. I liked this car, Axel sighs theatrically. But I guess it's time for a new one. Remember to remove our emblem from the doors, I remind him as I put on my sunglasses and a hat. I'll get the number plates. David and his men help Axel remove the emblems while I get rid of the number plates. Right, who wants to ram it? Axel looks at the men with a twinkle in his eyes. Two of them instantly shift and run towards the car with everything they have. The sound of crashing metal fills the air as they connect hard with the side of the car. That looks like fun, another one laughs and shifts to join Davey them. A fourth wolf joins and they hit it simultaneously and the car falls on its side. That's enough, Axel barks and they stand down. Get out of sight but stay close. Good luck, David nods as they get into their cars and get out of sight. It's Sophie, I say when I look at my ringing phone before answering it. We're safe, she reports. And he's on his way. Thank you, I reply. Wait an hour before returning home. We should get ready, I say to Axel as I put my phone away. You take the car, I'll hit the road, Axel nods. What are you doing? I gape when Axel extends his claw and scratches his arms and face. We were in an accident, he shrugs. I need to look injured. Not that injured, I shiver as I walk to the car and worm myself into the wreck. I hate seeing Axel injured, even if it is fake. Axel positions himself in an awkward position next to the car on the ground. I get a glimpse of a bleeding Axel and I clamp my eyes shut. The memories of him trapped in our car not so long ago are still vivid and unpleasant. Here he comes, Axel hisses. Let's hope it's him and not somebody else, I mumble. Explaining this to anybody else would be disastrous. With my eyes closed, I listen to the oncoming car. The sound of screeching tires and a door opening. Is that him? I mind link Axel. It's him, he confirms as Davey kneels next to him and feels for a pulse. Now, David, I order. Sir, can you hear me? Davey asks and Axel groans softly. Sir, what? Davey shouts as our wolves surround him. I'm any. Axel opens his eyes and smiles at Davey. What is this? Davey jumps up and stammers away, but a wolf stops him from reaching the car. I've been dying to meet you, I say as I get out of the car. You're the Luna, his eyes widen as he looks from me to Axel. And the Alpha. Why are you doing this? Interesting that you're asking why and not what, I smirk and nod at David's wolf. He lunges at Davey's back, and he falls hard onto the road. Can someone tell me what is going on? He yells as David pins him down. You already know why we're doing this, I kneel next to him. And you'll end out what we're going to do soon enough. Tie him, I order and stand up. You're crazy, he spits at me as one of our guards ties him and pulls him upright. I don't know anything. I'm going to have so much fun with you, I smile deviously. I have so much bottled up rage thanks to the enforcers. Davey visibly pales but he shows no fear. Only anger. See? I smirk. You do know what I'm talking about. Load him, boys, it's feeding time. Chapter 148. Axel POV. I'm not going anywhere with you, you crazy. Davey spits at Liana as he angrily fights against our wolf's hold. Have respect, David slaps him so hard against the back of his head that tears spring into his eyes. You do not speak to Luna that way. She's not my Luna, he growls and glares at Liana with hatred. She's my wife, I hiss and punch him in the gut. And you don't get to talk to her like that either. David, load him with you before I kill him, I grunt, and David drags him away to their car. You too, I point towards the guards. Flip my car back and return to the pack. The rest of you, get into Davey's car and follow us. I take Liana's hand and we walk to a pack car the guards arrive in. Follow us, I mind link my men and start the engine. I'll arrange with Shedrick that we're coming, Liana takes out her phone. Remind the guards to stay away from Moonstone's borders as far as they can. We can't afford Davey mind linking the enforcers. Are you sure you want to be part of this? I ask once she is done on the phone. It's going to get ugly. I'm carrying a lot of anger and hate towards the enforcers, she sighs. This will be therapeutic to me. I swore I would make them pay for every second I thought you were dead, and now I'm doing it. As long as you know you can change your mind anytime you want, I smile and reach for her hand. I know you can handle this, but you're pregnant. Don't think I haven't noticed that the smell of frying mushrooms is making you queasy lately. Don't mention it, she closes her eyes and swallows hard. Or cabbage for that matter. Just the thought of it makes me sick. Are you sure Shedrick is on board? I frown as we pull up at the gate. He doesn't look happy. Leave him to me, Liana smiles and gets out of the car. Liana POV. I put on my brightest and sweetest smile as I walk to Shedrick, who is standing by the gate with his shotgun. Seeing you always brightens my day, I flatter him as I rest my arms on the gate and lean against it. How are you doing, Shedrick? Stop the flattering, he spits a piece of tobacco at his feet. You're too pretty to be interested in me. Well, I don't know about the pretty, I laugh. But I'm definitely too married and too pregnant. At least you're not pretending to be interested to get what you want, he squints his eyes against the sun. Shedrick, I've been nothing but honest with you since the moment we met, I reply. And we made a deal, remember? You and me, yes, he nods and points his gun towards the cars. But you said nothing about them. How else am I supposed to capture and transport a grown man? Raise my eyebrows. I'm pregnant and need help. Are your pigs hungry today? Starving? Shedrick grins. I was about to feed them when you called. This man, he looks at me cautiously. The one you want to kill. What did he do? Illegal abortions, reply bluntly. You should have led with that. He unlocks the gate. I hate baby killers. Are you going to join us? Ask as I remove my arms from the gate. Nope, he scoffs. I want no part of this. You were never here. Shedrick, I place my hand on his shoulder, and he nearly jumps out of his skin. I give you my word, nobody will ever know we were here. And if you need anything, you know where to find me. I'm in your debt. I don't need anything, he says brusquely. And that includes trouble. You have my word, I smile and walk back to the car. All good? Axel asks as I get into the car. Yes, I nod. And Axel, this old man is now part of our pack, even if he doesn't know it. We must support and protect him if it ever comes to that. I will keep him safe, Axel agrees as we ride past Shedrick towards the pig pens. Axel parks the car, and we get out. Davey's hands are tied behind his back, and he struggles and fights to get free as our men drag him towards us. David kicks him from behind and he lands on his knees before us, face first into the dirt. Go ahead and kill me, Davey glares at me as David pulls him up by his shirt. The enforcers will look for me and know it's you. They'll rip that baby out of you while you're still alive. That's not nice of them, I gasp pretentiously. But I believe you. I mean, Sheldon has years of experience of killing unborn babies and removing organs. You know nothing, he spats. Yeah, cut the drama, I roll my eyes and give the signal for Davey to be tossed into the pen. What are you doing? Davey shouts as he is being picked up and dragged towards the pigs. I simply smile at him as he is being lifted and tossed over the fence. Pigs start squealing and scurry away from Davey. This is your master plan, his face is covered in mud as he uses the fence as support to get onto his feet. Scaring me with pigs? I'm a wolf, idiot, they don't scare me. I'm not trying to scare you, I laugh. I'm scaring them. Goddess, you're a useless Luna, Davey grunts, but he looks less brave than a minute ago and he keeps his eyes on the pigs. I've been called worse, I shrug nonchalantly. Thank you, gentlemen, I smile at our guards. You may return home. We're done here. That's it. Davey calls as we walk away. For now, yes, I shout over my shoulder as we continue walking. Luna, David whispers. We can't leave him here, he might escape. Relax, I smile. He's tied with silver and cannot shift. You, me, and Axel aren't going anywhere. But that buffoon is going to try and get out and that will aggravate the pigs, and we need that. That's the only way they'll attack him. Guys, Axel turns towards the guards. Leave David's car and take the rest of the vehicles to Clear Moon. Including Davey's. Strip his car and dump the parts at a scrapyard in the city. Place Davey's number plates on the car you're using to travel to the city. Any security camera that picks you up will redirect to Davey. Remember to wear subtle disguises. Now what? David asks as his men leave. Now we wait for, a blood-curdling scream echoes through the air and cuts me off. We wait for that, I smile. Let's go see how Davey's doing. Hey! Davey shouts as he sees us approaching. Pigs are nudging and biting at his legs while he frantically kicks at them and tries to avoid them. Get me out of here. No, I lean with my arms on the fence. Why did you kill Sam? He became a liability. Davey jumps over a pig and runs the other way. He was banished and threatened to tell if we don't continue giving him his share. Who's running the show now that Jack's dead? I ask loudly so he can hear me over the pigs squealing as they stay on Davey's heels. Sheldon, Davey looks at me pleadingly. Get me out of here. I'll tell you everything you want to know. Are there more enforcers besides you and the crew that work overtime? I ask and ignore his plea. No. He shouts, and I swear it sounded like he wants to cry. How does Alpha Philip contribute to all of this? I ask. Let me out and I'll tell you. Davey trips and falls into the mud. Immediately pigs start biting and trampling him. They're biting me, he shouts. Let me out. What's Philip's role in all of this? I ask again and cringe when Davey screams when a pig bites into his thigh. I don't know. He shouts. He brings the patients for the operation and immediately transports them after the operation before they wake up. Are you seriously expecting me to believe an alpha transports patients? I grunt. Not himself, Davey cries. His beta, Denzel, does it. That's it, that's all I know. Let me out before these animals kill me. David, I turn to him. Jump in there, slice his throat and put him out of his misery. He told us what he knows, the least we can do is show mercy. No, no, Davey protests as David approaches him. I told you everything. With one swing, David's claw slices his throat open, and his gurgling sounds are smothered by the sound of the pigs starting to feast on him. Chapter 149. Adele, sit and calm down, Luther says empathetically as I pace up and down in my office. You're going to pace a moat into the carpet. It's been hours. I push my fingers through my hair and sit next to him. Why haven't they called yet? They're probably still busy with whatever they're doing, Luther gently rubs my back. We would have heard if something happened to them. Not necessarily, I grunt and look at him. They're outside of their borders, they can't mind link for help. What if something happened to them? What if they're hurt and need our help or, enough, Adele, Luther says sternly and pulls me against his chest. You're going to drive yourself insane. Liana wouldn't do something stupid while she's pregnant. Whatever they're doing isn't that dangerous. You better be right, I sigh and nestle closer to him. There is a knock on the door, and I jump up to open it. I know it is not Liana, she would not knock, but I am still hoping. She is my best friend, and I cannot stand the thought of losing her. My apologies for disturbing you, Neil smiles when I open the door and my heart drops in disappointment. At least he is smiling, so he is not here with unwelcome news. There's a pack member who wants to see you. Show them in, I sigh and leave the door open as I walk to my desk. It is possibly something stupid and a frivolous problem, but I can do with a distraction right about now. Wannabe is my first thought when the young woman enters my office, but I keep a stoic face. Her hair is dyed pitch black, but her light brown roots are already showing. She might look mean and tough, but her eyes tell a different story. She is insecure and scared. Thank you for seeing me, Alpha, her voice hoarse, more like a person who smokes way too much. Please sit, I motion towards a chair. Thank you, she sits down. I'm Hilda. How may I help? I rack my brain to place her name. It feels familiar, but I cannot place my finger on it. This is a little awkward, she chuckles uncomfortably. I think my boyfriend's missing. Missing? I raise my eyebrows and sit upright. I prepared myself for a minor dispute like trouble with the neighbors, not a missing person. Yes, she nods. He left for the city and should have been back hours ago. I called him, but his phone went to voicemail. I'm worried and don't know who else to turn to. Why do you think he's missing? I frown. Is she paranoid or something? Why would she immediately jump to the conclusion that he is missing after a mere couple of hours? There are like a million valid reasons why he is not picking up his phone or not home yet. Flat tire and phone on silent are the two that jump to mind. He could simply be late or made an extra stop. Davey's never late, she says hastily, and my fingers dig into my chair's armrests when I hear the name and the pieces fall into place. This is Hilda, Liana spoke with over the phone. The Hilda who is helping the enforcers. And when he always calls. Always. This is completely out of character for him. Maybe missing is the wrong word. Maybe in trouble is a better choice. Like an accident or something. Does his car have a tracker? I ask. Insurance companies insist on tracking devices lately. No, she lowers her gaze. It broke. There's no tracker. Okay, I feel relieved, but I do not know why. I have no idea what Liana is doing or did, but I figure it is a good thing Davey's car cannot be tracked. Tell me where he went to, and I'll send somebody to trace his tracks. Thank you, she smiles gratefully. I appreciate it. I know he's not my mate, but we're a couple and, you don't need to explain. I cut her off and handed her a pen and paper. I am really not interested. He's a pack member and my responsibility. Just write down all his information and I'll take it from there. Axel POV, what's wrong? Ask concerned when I find Liana crying at the dinner table. Are you okay? I sit next to her and rub her back. Pork chops, she looks at me with tear-filled eyes. I was in the kitchen and smelled our dinner being prepared and then I got nauseous. Pork chops, Axel, we're having pork chops. Do you think it's karma slapping me for feeding Davey to the pigs? Love, no, I say, relieved that there is not anything seriously wrong with her. What about bacon? She sobs. I love bacon, I don't want to cut it out. What if, Liana, it's just hormones, it'll pass, I comfort her. It's not karma nor is it permanent. It will be the same with the mushrooms and cabbage. Her cell phone starts ringing and with a sniff, she takes it out and looks at the screen. It's Adele, she hands it to me. You take it, please. I can't right now. Hello, I answer the call. Is everything okay? You tell me, she replies and tells me about Hilda. So, am I sending a search party or not? Send one, I look at Liana. They won't find anything. Okay, she sighs. Are you going to tell me what's going on? How about you invite us for dinner? I smile at Liana. And feed us chicken or sh. Done, Adele laughs and ends the call. Hilda is looking for Davey, I hand Liana her phone. We'll have to move fast. Liana wipes her tears and stands up. They won't find him, but it will only be a matter of time until the enforcers start getting restless. We should get Philip before then. Visiting Philip will set off alarms, I reply. We can't stand one another. And he's an alpha. Catching him alone and feeding him to the pigs isn't going to be that easy. You're right, Liana says softly as she stares at the floor for a while. How do we get to him? She mumbles as she starts pacing, and I know she is not aware of my presence at the moment. Amused, and watch her. I know her mind is working overtime and I am eager to hear what she is coming up with. Personally, I will just declare war against Philip's pack and get it over with. But that means innocent people laying down their lives, and Liana will not stand for it. Okay, Liana clamps her hands together and looks at me. We can't go to him, so he must come to us. And all the two of you have in common, is business. Inviting him over to talk business, isn't going to work. He'll come with lawyers and his beta. We'll have to draw him in with a crowd. Do you have any new devices or software? A new mouse or virus program? Nothing worth a launch. I understand in which direction she is going. But we can push up our rebranding. I told Philip about that the night of Adele's inauguration. No, Liana exclaims and looks at me with bright sparkling eyes. You shouldn't rebrand. You should liquidate. What? I gape at her. We can't liquidate a lucrative business. That's not how it works. With voluntary liquidation, you can, she smiles brightly as she takes a seat next to me. You said it yourself, Moonstone is facing bankruptcy if you don't get new contracts. Don't get new contracts. Not in Moonstone's name, anyway. Liquidize Moonstone and start a new company with the current, and new, clients. Not only will you be rebranding, but you'll also be rid of Philip's claim. The new company has no business in honoring his and Jack's agreement. Wife, you're brilliant, I cup her face and kiss her excitedly. And business is supposed to be my thing. It still is, she smiles at me. What I know, I learned from you and your father. I might understand what I said, but I have no idea how to do it. Come on, I stand up and take her hand. Dinner is waiting at Moonstone, and we have a lot to discuss and plan. And we don't have much time, she rolls her eyes. Once the enforcers learn about Davey's disappearance, they'll get restless. I'll advise Adele to execute a thorough search for him, I say as we walk to the car. As long as the enforcers are under the impression that she's actively looking for him, they won't suspect that we know. People disappear all the time. Clear Moon should join in the search, Liana says as she gets into the car. You know, to show them our support. Goddess, you're devious, I quickly kiss her. And I love it. Chapter 150. Flabbergasted, I listen to Axel explaining their idea while we are all gathered in my office after dinner. You want to rename the pack? I gape excitedly at Liana and Axel. I would love to do it and put my stamp down. But am reasonable enough to know that such a move has risks. Not just for me, but for the members. Not the pack, just the business, Liana explains. Actually, I think it would be good to rename the pack, Luther says, and I look at him in surprise. Right now, Moonstone is associated with things we disagree with. Things we didn't know was going on when you took over. Renaming the pack would be a clean slate or a new beginning. A new name which has no association, that's happening. Luther's right, Axel agrees. This pack needs a fresh start. Every person in this pack has been born under the Moonstone name, I reason. Moonstone is their home. The members have been through a lot with losing their alpha in a traumatic way. I don't want to take more from them. They're loyal towards the name and might not like the change. I don't want a mutiny on my hands and have pack members challenge me. Let them, Axel says firmly. Then you can weed out the bad and rotten members. They can either adjust or leave, but you need this, Adele. Adele has a point, Liana adds. She shouldn't force it on them. She should include them and make them feel like it's their idea. Then they'll support her. Have a pack meeting, wine and dine them. Thank them for their loyal support since you took over. Ask them if they would like a new name to signify a new era. Let them debate the situation and add suggestions while they're discussing it. It won't be long until they insist on the change and are excited about it. I like that, I point at Liana. Getting the change and boosting pack morale is two birds with one stone. Then it's settled, Luther grins. Out with the old and in with the new. Not to mention getting rid of Philip's deal with Jack. There's just one snag, I say reluctantly. Actually, two. One, this is going to take time and we don't have that luxury. Second, the enforcers. They're not going to like or support this. We don't know what they'll do if word gets out. You need to keep them on your side, Adele, Liana says thoughtfully. As long as they believe they can control or fool you, they'll continue with their ways. Convince them by openly and actively searching for Davey. It will make them feel you have their interests at heart. Speaking of, I look at Liana. Are you ever going to tell me what happened to him? Nope, she shakes her head. The less you know, the better. As long as you don't know, you are innocent. And if you want the pack to support and follow you, we need to keep it that way. I'll only tell you when this is over. You're cruel, I playfully roll my eyes. I'm dying to know. All I'm willing to say is that you won't find him, she smiles. And that he's dead. Liana and Axel are only protecting me and Luther by not telling us. And I appreciate it. That does not mean that my curiosity is not gnawing on me. Whatever they have done, they are content that a body will not pop up, which they always do. Even if it is decades later. Fine, I throw my hands up in the air. Have it your way. I'll mind link the pack and ask for any information about Davey's whereabouts. Good, Axel stands up. Then it's settled. I'm going to start with the arrangements on the business side, you'll continue looking for Davey and start with the pack meeting. And thank you for the chicken, Liana stands next to Axel and puts her arm around his waist. It was delicious. You poor thing, I sympathize with her. It must be terrible to miss out on your favorite foods. You have no idea, she sighs theatrically before they leave. Philip POV, the whip slices into the girl's back and my erection grows harder when the white of her skin turns red and swollen while her screams echo through the room. Her fingers curl around the chain which keeps her hands restrained above her head. Her naked body is sleek and sweaty under my touch as I glide my fingers over her back. Please, Alpha, she pants. I had enough. Can we stop now? Are you sure you're done? I press my naked body against her back and kiss her on her neck while I rub my erection against her smooth skin. She shivers when my hands glide over her hips, and she bites back a cry when I roughly grab her nether hair. Why, yes, she stutters. I'm sorry, I'm tired. I'll decide when you're done, I bellow, and she screams when I yank her hair. I pull on the rope to open her legs and position myself behind her. I spread her cheeks and am about to thrust into her when my phone rings. Saved by the bell, I push her away and her sobs are loud and ugly as she swings from the ceiling. Quiet! I bark and she bites her bottom lip. This better be good, I answer the phone. Things were about to get good, and I am eager to this little she-wolf into oblivion. Pity that I will have to snap her neck when I am done. She has been plenty of fun the last couple of hours, but dead girls do not tell their alpha assaulted them. I'm sorry, Alpha, Sheldon says apologetically. I thought you need to know Davey is missing. Missing? I frown. What do you mean? He vanished after dropping off a potential client, Sheldon replies and informs me of everything that happened. Any theories about what happened? I clench the phone tighter. Do you think that pathetic excuse for an alpha is behind all of this? No, not at all, Sheldon says hastily. She's clueless as to what's going on. Adele is supportive and helping us to continue working overtime. She even sent out a search team and begged the pack to help ND him. So, you feel it's appropriate to bother me with a random disappearance? Irritated, I snap at him. Replace the man, damn it. He was only muscle and no brains. How hard can it be to find a strong and loyal idiot amongst a pack of wolves? I don't believe it's random, sir, Sheldon continues. My money is on the last client. She hasn't made contact to confirm or decline her surgery. Normally, I wouldn't be suspicious about it, but normally our men don't go missing after dropping off a client. It's too much of a coincidence. Then track and stop wasting my time, I yell into the phone. I have. Sheldon defends himself. But she must have provided false information because I can't reach her. The home address she provided is a building site in the city. Frustrated, I reach for the whip and hit the girl with so much force that I break the skin. This is not good, Sheldon, I growl and drop the whip. I walk to the girl and start kneading her breast like a stress ball. She whimpers and squirms, but she does not dare to make loud noises. Anybody can be onto us, and I mean anybody. Wolves or human authorities. Postpone all surgeries at once. We need to lay low until we know who's behind this. With all due respect, Alpha, Sheldon's voice is cautious. We can't postpone abortions like the plastic surgeries. It needs to be done before 18 weeks and. And I don't care. I cut him off brusquely. Let the wits raise their bastard children or kill them, I don't care either way. But I'm not going to risk getting caught because they couldn't keep their legs closed. Alpha, we laid it on thick with Adele to continue working after hours, Sheldon sounds apologetically. If we tell her now we don't need to work, she might get suspicious. Leave her to me, I grimace as I look at the whip on the floor. Pretty little Alpha Adele will be a NE toy to play with. Just tell her the client postponed his delivery and there's no need to work overtime and it will save the pack money. I'll do the rest. Yes, Alpha, Sheldon mumbles. Send me the LE on the last patient, I order. If you're too pathetic to find her, I will. I end the call and turn my attention to the girl. Now, I reach between her legs and start rubbing. Where were we? Chapter 151. Sheldon, Hilda, I smile stiffly when they enter my office. Talking to them is something I must do and not want to do. Thank you for coming on such short notice. Please have a seat. They seem equally uncomfortable as they sit down opposite from me. Sheldon glances suspiciously at Neil, who is standing silently next to me. We have an update about Davey, I inform them. You found him? Hilda's face instantly lightens up and she looks at me hopefully. I'm sorry, no, I shake my head and clear my throat. But Neil and his team did find something. We found his phone by the side of the road. Neil places the plastic bag with the device on my desk. It's still intact. Hilda's bottom lip starts quivering as she reaches for the bag. Nobody says a word as she looks at the phone for a moment. It's his, she nods slightly and puts the phone down. Can I have it? I'm afraid not yet, I smile sympathetically. The battery is it, and there could be vital clues on it. Do you know his password? No, she sniffs and stares at the phone. It's all right, I say softly. We'll figure it out. That's it. Sheldon scoffs. With all due respect, Alpha. Why am I here? Why would you think I need to know this? Because you're his manager, I reply. Was I wrong to assume that you would like to know the whereabouts of your employee? No, Sheldon shifts uncomfortably in his seat. I'm just taken aback. My apologies. Neil, I look at him. Please continue. With the help of security cameras, we were able to confirm that Davey did leave the city, Neil informs them. He traveled alone, and nobody followed him. Activity on the cell phone towers led us to his phone. Posted by jobnib.com. Always visit us for more novels. There was no blood break marks or any physical evidence of a struggle or accident. Just the phone lying by the road. I'm sorry, it's not better news. What do you mean? Hilda looks at Neil. I don't understand. You found something, that's good, right? No, it's not, Sheldon grimaces. It means it's the end of the road. Finding Davey has now become close to impossible. We're still hoping somebody saw something and will come forward, I say sympathetically as I look at Hilda. I might not like her, but she truly seems devastated. We reported Davey's car stolen. Finding his car could give us fresh leads. This is unacceptable, Hilda jumps up with flushed cheeks. Her pain has made way for anger. You can't stop looking for him. We can't just sit here and wait for someone who has seen something. We must do more. What would you want us to do? I ask calmly. Something, she throws her hands up in the air. Anything. Please, we can't just wait. Okay, Hilda, I say calmly and turn to Neil. Will you please take Hilda and help her understand? Show her the surveillance videos and take her to where you found the phone. Yes, Alpha, Neil nods and leads Hilda outside. Poor girl, I mumble as I look at Sheldon. This must be torture. She's a loyal girlfriend, he replies. Thanks for coming, I stand up and he follows my lead. I'll inform you if we have anything new. One more thing, Sheldon clears his throat. We don't need to work overtime this month. Because of Davey. I frown. I need the enforcers to continue with their evil ways so that we can catch them red-handed. Especially Philip. He is their leader but not part of Moonstone. Plus, he is an alpha. We need concrete evidence against him to avoid a pack war. No, he scratches the back of his neck. It's the client. They postponed their delivery, and there's no need to rush anymore. But it's a good thing, we're saving the pack money by not working overtime. Unfortunately, we're also losing the income from the client. I avoid eye contact and walk with him to the door. We're losing more than we save. Maybe I can convince the client to reconsider, Sheldon replies nervously. You do that, I smile stiffly while closing the door behind him and walking back to my desk. Something is up, I can feel it. The enforcers would not stop their operations just because of Davey, and I need to figure out what is going on before it is too late. Philip POV. My fingers are drumming on the desk as I watch the surveillance video. Last night's call from Sheldon disturbed me more than I would like to admit. It did not matter how loud the she-wolf screamed in pain, it did not fill me with pleasure and joy like it usually did. All because of one call. I do not care about Davey. The man is an ape, but he is an ape with knowledge. If he spills his gut, we can all kiss our cozy lifestyle goodbye. I need to find him before then. Which is the reason I am watching this and not anybody else. If you want something to be done right, you do it yourself. I watch Davey drop off the women. They take a seat and order a drink, use their phones and leave after a while. With the assistance of surrounding cameras, I watch them going from shop to shop before finally getting onto a bus. I grunt frustrated when my phone rings. What? I bark. It's definitely not Adele, Sheldon replies. She wants us to work overtime. The pack needs the money. Until we know what happened to Davey, we don't operate, say brusquely as I write down the bus number and search its route. They found Davey's phone, Sheldon continues. For sake, Sheldon, I yell. Have they looked at it? And no, he stutters. They don't have the password and I think think. I bellow. Don't use words you don't know the meaning of. If they unlock that phone and they could figure out what's going on. Knows what's on that phone. You better get it, and you better do it now. Yes, Alpha, he replies nervously. I'll find a way to get it. You do that, I sneer and end the call before he can reply. I slam on the desk and jump up. I blame Axel for everything when he killed Jack. My days were relaxed and luxurious when Jack was still around. Once I sorted this, I will kill Axel and his family just because I can knows what Greta saw in him. It is a good thing she is dead. She got what she deserved. Know it all, holier than thou. As kids, she always told on me, and I received more than one punishment thanks to her. If Angela had not killed her, I would have. But that is in the past, and Axel is still a thorn in my side. And this is turning into a royal mess really fast. Adele might be clueless about us, but she will know soon enough if they go through the phone. Even if Davey's disappearance is random, it will not be for long. I take a deep breath and close my eyes to calm myself. I cannot afford to make mistakes. We need that phone and find those women before it is too late. I exhale deeply, sit down, and pull my laptop closer. I'll be damned, I mumble as I look at the bus route. It travels from the city to Moonstone and surrounding packs. We know the woman is a she-wolf. That is the one thing she could not lie about. I need to figure out to which pack she belongs. But that is easier said than done. I do not have access to any of the pack's surveillance cameras. Good thing I have allies in every pack. I grin and pick up my phone. Liana POV, how's it going? I ask as I walk into the office and place Axel's cup of coffee next to him. Pretty good, he smiles. All the clients or their representatives will be at the meeting tomorrow. We'll cancel their contracts and issue new ones in the new company's name once Adele has changed it. I'm glad. I take a seat and gently rub my bulging stomach. It feels like I am getting bigger by the minute. You look worried, Axel frowns. What's the matter? Sophie, I exhale deeply and look at him. We should get her to safety. Did something happen? He asks concerned. No, I shake my head. But I'm restless about her. She was the last person to see Davey. If the enforcers are looking for him and when they put 2 and 2 together, she will be in trouble. Especially if Philip and DS out she's from your pack. He already hates you. You're right, Axel nods thoughtfully. We need to get her to safety. I'll make arrangements. Thank you, I smile and stand up. I'm going to Moonstone and help Adele with the party arrangements. I'll see you tonight. Chapter 152. I sigh heavily as I get out of bed and walk to the bathroom. My night was restless. I hardly slept, and when I actually managed to fall asleep, I was taunted by nightmares of Davey grinning at me while playing with pigs. Something is gnawing at me, and I do not know what it is. Since we caught Davey, I have repeatedly replayed the events in my mind, but I cannot figure out what I am missing. I am worried about you, Axel looks at me concerned when I return from the bathroom. Don't think I haven't noticed you didn't sleep last night. You don't need to worry, I smile weakly. There's nothing wrong. But something's bugging you. He takes my hand and pulls me onto the bed next to him. Talk to me. I don't know, I admit with a groan and nestle closer to his chest as his arms go around me. It just feels like I'm missing something. I already made one mistake when I forgot about a tracking device in Davey's car. It was pure luck that he deactivated it. I can't afford to make mistakes when other people's lives are at stake. First off, we made a mistake. He kisses me softly on the forehead. It's not fair that you carry the responsibility by yourself. Thanks, I smile as his words warm my heart. His unwavering support is priceless. But if I want an idea, I must think it through thoroughly. Let's take it step by step, Axel says softly. There isn't a body to be found, the car's untraceable and in pieces at a scrapyard. It was delivered with our men in disguise and false number plates. We left Davey's phone by the road, and nobody can trace it to us. They found the phone like we knew they would, and that's it. I sit upright and look at Axel. The phone. We haven't looked through it. I don't understand, he frowns. There's nothing on it that we don't know. Why is it important? Because we know, I jump up and walk to my cupboard. We know what happened to Davey, but according to everyone else, he is missing, not dead. We didn't bother searching the phone, but what if there's information about Sophie there? A photo or something that might help the enforcers find her if they get their hands on the phone. But they don't have the phone, Axel reasons. Until they do, I say over my shoulder as I dress. They're capable of so much more than stealing a phone. Adele needs to hide that thing far and deep until they can unlock and search it. I'll call her. Axel reaches for the phone. Adele POV. What does Axel want this early? Luther yawns and stretches out lazily as I put my phone down. He warned me to guard Davey's phone, I reply and get out of bed. And I asked them to be here in an hour. We have business to discuss before this afternoon's meeting. I'll start. Luther is interrupted by an alarm, and we look at each other for a split second before storming downstairs. I usually do not confront people in my pajamas, but there is no time to change. Rena, report, I mind link her. I'm already here. There's an intruder in your office, she replies hastily. I look at Luther. Davey's phone. Luther and I barge into the office and see Rena with her knee on a man's back. The man looks vaguely familiar and then it hits me. It is Alfred, he used to be Jack's Delta. Quickly I scour my office, but at first glance, nothing is out of place. Not even the furniture is disturbed. Alfred. I frown and walk closer. Is he the intruder? One of them. Rena gets up and pulls Alfred to his feet. Neil is chasing the other one. What, Alfred? I cross my arms in front of my chest. I study his face, but there is not a trace of blood or bruising. Is this payback for replacing you as Delta? You have it all wrong, Alfred looks pleadingly at me. I came to help. I saw a suspicious person entering your home, and I could smell he was not from Moonstone. So, I investigated, and that's when Rena found me. I sniff in the air, and it takes all my self-control to keep my composure when I indeed smell an unfamiliar smell. Alfred's story sounds like a lie, but the part about the intruder is true. Lock him up until I decide his fate, I order Rena. Silently I wait as Rena leads Alfred away as dark tendrils curl around my heart. I cannot place my finger on it, but this entire situation stinks. I walk to my desk and pull open the drawer. Forsake, no, I mumble as I slump into my chair and look at Luther. They got the phone. How did they know to go directly to your desk? Luther frowns. It's the last place Sheldon saw it. He took a wild guess, and it paid off. My blood boils as I say the words. I should have locked it away. There's no way you could have known, I should have known better, I cut him off brusquely and closed my eyes for a moment. I'm sorry I snapped at you, I stand up and walk to him. I'm furious at myself for not thinking. It's okay, he gently kisses me on my forehead. Snap all you want, I can take it. I tried mind-linking Neil a couple of times, but he is not responding. This only means he is not within our borders and that Alfred was not lying about the other person not being from Moonstone. I'm going to get dressed before Liana and Axel get here, pull away from Luther and walk to our room. Axel POV. I look at Liana as we listen to Adele's story. I knew Liana was right about the phone, but I thought she was a little too anxious about it. Now it seems she had every right to feel like that. This is such a mess, Adele continues. The culprit might not be from Moonstone, but he sure had help from the inside. How else did he know where to look and how to deactivate the security system? And nobody knows the code, except for me, Luther and the ranks. It's not Rena or Neil, Liana says adamantly. They know we're looking for the enforcers. If they were part of it, they would have warned them. How do you know they haven't? Luther raises his eyebrows. Sheldon already wants to suspend working overtime. That tells me they know we're onto them. If they knew, they wouldn't need the phone, Liana argues. They would have simply killed us and get it over with. They're laying low for another reason. I cannot fathom that Neil or Rena helped, but who else? Adele says skeptically. They were awfully quick on the scene. Rena pinned Alfred down without knocking over a chair. They were not supposed to report for duty for another hour. Why were they here so early? And if they are conspiring against me, why catch Alfred? Why not take the phone and plead clueless? Alfred could be part of this, Luther shrugs. Think about it. They were 3 against 1. It should have been easy for them to catch the intruder. Catching Alfred might simply be a smokescreen to distract us from what's really going on. And allowing the true culprit to get away, Adele adds. Those are all valid questions, I say firmly. Adele has every reason to suspect a traitor amongst her ranks, but speculating about it is not going to help us now. Time is a luxury we do not have. But figuring out the answers is a waste of time. Our priority now is to get Sophie to safety and keep up appearances. Like your meeting with the clients this afternoon, Liana nods. Right, I agree. And things might be clearer once you talk to Neil and Rena. There could be a logical reason for this morning's event. He'll be in my office in 5 minutes. Adele looks at her watch. But Rena is guarding Alfred. It's better to interrogate Neil and Rena separately, I state. That way they can't lie for each other. I'll take care of Alfred, Luther smiles wickedly. My hands are itching to break something. Just don't break his neck until we have answers, I warn softly, and Luther gives me an annoyed look. And I'll get Sophie to safety, Liana smiles. I know this is our best option, but I don't like this, Adele looks at Liana. You're pregnant and things could get dangerous. I agree with her, I look at Liana as my guts pull into knots. I won't do it alone, she reassures us. David will be by my side. And I'll warn Shedrick not to feed his pigs. Liana's mind links me. Chapter 153. Luther POV. Alfred is resting his head on his hands and staring into the abyss when I arrive at the cell, and Rena straightens her back when she sees me. I motion for Rena to come to me so that Alfred cannot eavesdrop on our conversation. I need the truth, Rena, I say softly and look her in the eyes. Why were you here so early this morning? About that, she rubs her neck awkwardly. I was, doing the walk of shame. The walk of shame. I gape at her in surprise. Yeah, she nods. That's when you spend the night with another and, I know what it is. I cut her off. Never mind, continue. As I was saying, she clears her throat. I was on my way home when I saw Alfred entering the house, and I followed him. I know there's no reason for him to visit your residence at the C*** of dawn. So, I remained quiet and out of sight. He was looking around as if he was searching for something. I heard angry voices when he entered the office, and that's when I decided to act. Out of fear that he might be attacking you or Alpha Adele. When I ran inside, Alfred was hanging out of the window, shouting to Neil to catch that guy. That's when I grabbed him and pinned him to the floor. Do you know why Neil was there so early? I scratch my head thinking. No, she shakes her head. Thanks, I smile and walk towards the cell. Open up, please. Rena unlocks the cell and I enter. So, Alfred, I smile as I sit opposite him. Busy morning, isn't it? I haven't done anything wrong, he looks at me angrily. Calm down, big boy, I raise my eyebrows. I haven't accused you of anything. Not yet anyway. I'm locked up like a criminal, he snaps. Surely not because you think I'm innocent. Okay, I shrug. What's your version of events? I went for a jog, his eyes blaze into mine. Like I always do for the last 10 years. Ask anybody who knows me. Same route, same time. I saw a stranger entering your house and from his smell, I knew he didn't belong here. So, I followed and confronted him. He was at Luna's desk, but couldn't see what he was doing. I asked him what he was doing, but he escaped through the window. He must have opened it before he did whatever he was doing. And that's when you told Neil to catch him, I conclude. Neil. He frowns. Neil wasn't there, it was Sheldon. I keep my face stoic as I process the information. Either Rena is lying, or she simply assumes he is talking to Neil. And what was Sheldon doing there? And did Sheldon catch him? I clear my throat. I don't know, he shrugs. Sheldon went after him and then Rena pinned me down. Thoughtfully I look at Alfred, but his gaze does not waver for a second. I might not be a human lie detector, but I believe Alfred. Besides, he does not have the code to deactivate the alarm. Even if he is guilty, he has help. Can you describe the man you saw? I ask. I'll try, he shrugs. The man was ordinary in every way. He has one of those faces that will blend in a crowd, you know? Brown eyes, brown hair, average build and height. Good thing I'm an artist, I smile and get up. Stay put, I'll be back and then we can put an identikit together. Adele POV. He's late. I sigh and look at my watch. Neil should have been here by now. Have you tried mind linking him again? Axel asks. Yes, I reply. He said, Alpha. Neil storms into the office and my eyes widen when I look at him. He is only wearing pajama pants and his hair is standing in every direction. But it is his blood-covered body and face which disturbs me the most. We must hurry, they have Gwen and... What happened to you? I interrupt and walk towards him, but he falls onto his knees and looks at me with tears in his eyes. I'm so sorry, Alpha, he looks at me pleadingly. I had no choice. I'm so sorry. You betrayed your Alpha. Axel bellows and grabs Neil by the neck. I had no choice, Neil starts sobbing. There's always a choice, Axel hisses and pulls back his fist. Axel, wait, I say quickly before he can punch him. Let's hear his side. I don't know how they did it, Neil sniffs. They abducted us while we were sleeping, and, dear goddess. His eyes widen and he looks at me with unblemished fear. The children, he mumbles and stands up. I must go and you're not going anywhere. Axel grabs him and throws him onto the sofa. Talk. Now. Relax, Neil, I say patiently. I mind-linked Kathy. She's on her way to your house. Tell me what happened. I woke up when that tossed water on me, Neil glares at Axel. Gwen and I were tied up in an old barn or something. I tried to mind-link for help, but we were outside the borders and could not reach anyone. They started beating me to get your security code, but I refused to give it up. That's when they started hitting Gwen. I'm sorry. He sniffs and looks away for a second. I gave it to them, his voice is barely audible. Tell me, Alpha, he looks at Axel. What would you have done differently? Axel pales and looks at me why? I'm going to check in on Liana, he says brusquely and storms out of the office. It's okay, Neil, I say softly and sit next to him. What happened then? They called somebody and gave them the code, he exhales deeply. I managed to untie myself and Gwen when they weren't looking, but I couldn't shift. I shoved the guy closest to me into the other one, grabbed Gwen's hand and started running. We made it outside, but they were catching up fast. Gwen mind-linked me that we should split up and I should get help while she distracts them. I didn't want to, but I'm faster and we had to think about our children. So, that's what I did. Gwen picked up a stick and attacked them while I ran away. One of them shifted and came for me but I managed to get into the car and drove away. Goddess, I'm such a coward. I should have fought harder for her. I should have. You're not a coward, I comfort him. Without shifting, you didn't stand a chance. Come on, let's go find Gwen. What if they have already killed her? He looks at me with pain. We won't know if we stay here, I say firmly and get my car keys. Let's go. I mind-link Luther that we are leaving and call the guards to meet me. There is a pit in my stomach as we follow Neil's directions and drive to the barn. I fear the worst. Gwen and Neil were taken for one purpose only to get the code. Now, they have it and there is no reason to keep Gwen alive any longer. I look at Neil who is sitting in the front seat. He is an emotional mess and I do not blame him. I would have done exactly what Gwen did, but I would not have run like Neil. He did the right thing, he was their best chance at survival. But I do not know if he will ever recover if Gwen is dead. There, Neil points eagerly. There's the barn. We watch quietly as the trackers get out of the car and start sniff NG for a scent. The rest of us remain in the cars until they give us the signal. We do not want to contaminate the scene. Let's move, I give the order when a tracker whistles. They left about 10 minutes ago, Gavin, my lead tracker, informs me. Their scent is still fresh. Take the cars and ride in every direction, I order. Maybe we're lucky and you can catch up with them. What about you? Gavin frowns. It's not safe here. I'll be I take out my phone. My ride will be here soon. Now, stop wasting time and go. I call Luther and ask him to fetch us. Concerned, I walk over to Neil who is sitting on the ground sobbing. I swallow hard when I look at the pool of blood next to him. They killed her, he sniffs with his eyes zapped on the blood. You don't know that, I say softly and kneel next to him. Nobody can lose that amount of blood and be alive, he mumbles. I squeeze his shoulder and close my eyes because I know he is right. Chapter 154. My entire body is trembling as I listen to the ringing in my ear, waiting for Liana to answer. Thank goddess, I sigh when she answers. Are you all right? Sure, she replies. Why wouldn't I be? Something happened, I grunt and tell her everything. Goddess, no, she exclaims. Have they found Gwen? Adele left with Neil, I reply. They're still looking. Liana, this is spinning out of control, and I'm concerned for you. If the enforcers learn we're part of this, they'll be coming for you and our children first. I'm surrounded by guards, Axel, she says softly. I will be any. You don't need to worry about me, I'm not taking any risks. Just, find Gwen, please. She's been through enough. I close my eyes and scratch my forehead as I listen to her. I know she is cautious, but I love her, damn it. I cannot even begin to imagine the living hell Neil is enduring right now. Okay, I say reluctantly. Where are you? On our way to the airport, there is a smile in her voice. Sophie and her mate are on their way to a well-deserved holiday in Greece. Good, I push my fingers through my hair. They'll never find her there. Axel, you need to get ready for this afternoon's meeting, Liana says firmly. We must keep up appearances and make them believe that we're oblivious to what's happening. Cancelling Philip's contract is important. It's a curveball he's not ready for. Right now, I'm tempted to send in our guards and wipe his pack off this earth, I grunt. And risking innocent lives? Liana asks. We can't do that, Axel. Besides, Gwen might still be alive and if we attack, they will certainly kill her. I know, I sigh. It's just how I feel. Don't worry, love, she chuckles softly. It won't be long until you can rip his heart out. And I do mean that literally. I like that, I smile. I'll see you at home. I disconnect the call and look up into Luther's bewildered eyes. What's up? I frown. I had it with unwelcome news. Adele phoned, he replies. I need to pick her up. I'm coming with you, I say hastily and follow him. Sheldon POV, you imbeciles, I curse as I frantically place gauze on Gwen's wounds. But it is not as easy as it looks. Denzel is driving like a maniac, and I have all my days not to be tossed around in the back of the van. You weren't supposed to kill anyone. Philip is going to skin you alive. She is his to kill. I did what was necessary, okay, he snaps at me. She couldn't even shift, I argue. There was no need to beat her into a pulp. She was going to escape, he sneers. Just patch her up and keep her alive. How am I supposed to do that while you're driving like an animal? I shout. Just do it, Denzel yells. Sheldon's right, Theo says nervously. If we take her to Philip in this condition, he won't be happy. That's why we're taking her to the safe house in the city, Denzel grunts. Once she's healed, we'll take her to him. If she's still alive, I growl. Oh, shut up, Denzel shouts. This was a shitting plan to begin with, killing the beta and his wife. Like Adele wouldn't notice their disappearance. I had a plan in place, numbnuts, I yelled. Now everything is ruined. By now, Neil would have told Adele everything, and if his mate dies, just keep the bitch alive and stop whining, Denzel cuts me off. Neither Neil nor Adele know who we are, well be any. I do not reply and put more pressure on Gwen's wound. She needs stitches. With the wolfsbane in her system, her wolf cannot heal her. I do not care which way Denzel argues this, there was no need to beat her up this badly. And we need her alive now more than ever. Philip's sadistic ex-habit needs to be satisfied, and we might need her as leverage to get to Adele. Anything on that phone? I change the subject and look at Ted, who is quietly sitting at the back door. No, he shakes his head. The only incriminating evidence on here is his pics. No man's junk should be shaved like that. Are you shitting me? Denzel explodes. All this drama for nothing. I'm afraid so, Ted replies. His disappearing messages are on. Everything erases after 24 hours. I can't even see who's the unlucky recipient of his crooked penis. That's good news, Theo adds. If Adele accessed the phone, she would have no idea what's going on. Nosed it, Sherlock, Denzel sneers. And killing her beta and his mate wouldn't tip her off at all. It wouldn't have been ling if you stuck to my instructions, I shout frustrated. Denzel sneers. You didn't account for them escaping. Now we're in this shitstorm and enough. Ted barks. Bickering isn't going to help. Sheldon, keep her alive, and Denzel, get us to the safe house. We'll report to Philip and take it from there. Fine, I grunt and look at Denzel with blazing eyes. But knowing Philip, he's not going to care that you're his beta. You will feel his wrath if she dies. The only indication that he heard me, is his knuckles turning white as he holds on to the steering wheel. Adele POV, come on, I say softly as I help Neil to his feet. Luther will be here soon. The children, he looks at me with devastation. I forgot about them. I need to. They're safe, I smile sympathetically. Kathy sent me a message. They're with their grandparents. What? He says abergast. That's impossible. I don't understand, I frown. Kathy said she spoke to them and confirmed. My parents are in Canada, Neil looks at me with fear. And Gwen's parents are dead. I'm calling Kathy, I take out my phone and start dialing as ominous tendrils curl around my heart. Silently I pray I misunderstood Kathy's message, or that she has mistyped or something, anything, as long as the children are safe and unharmed. Neil's eyes follow me like a hawk as I take a few steps away while talking to Kathy. He is unnerved enough as it is, I do not want him to overhear my conversation and upset him unnecessarily. What did she say? He looks eagerly at me. They're with Wyatt's parents, I clear my throat and put my phone away. They're safe. No, 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 his fingers cramp into his hair as he looks at me in panic. That can't be. Neil, I say sharply, and he pulls himself together. I know there's bad blood between Gwen and the Millers, but they are the children's biological grandparents. Why is that such a problem? Because they want Peter, he grunts. They already tried to take him once from her before we met. I remember, I nod. But Liana put a stop to that. Exactly, he continues. They phone Peter at least once a week. They haven't given up hope to get Peter. He's a replacement for the son they lost. Gwen refused to send him for a visit in fear that they might disappear with him. Oh, my eyes widen as reality sets in. The Millers are part of this. With you and Gwen out of the way, they have a chance of getting the children. Just Peter, his eyes sadden. They only care about him, and not about Cecilia. I don't even want to think what they'll do with her. He looks as devastated as he sounds and my heart breaks for him. He might not be their biological father, but he loves them wholeheartedly. That's our ride, I look at the approaching vehicle when I hear the engine. We'll sort this. Neil nods and silently stands next to me. His last words are still haunting me. There is no doubt in my mind that the Millers are working with the enforcers. Which also means that they are friendly with Philip. Why else would the kids end up with the Millers on the same day as Neil and Gwen's? The more we uncover, the worse it gets. We thought the enforcers were only from Moonstone, but now evidence points towards Clear Moon as well. Are you all right? Luther asks as he jumps out of the car and runs towards me. He wraps me tightly in his arms and I inhale his scent deeply. I am now, I smile when I see Axel. The Alpha of Clear Moon is the exact person we need right now. And I know Axel, he has plenty of built-up anger. What better way to relieve some of that than to kick the Millers' asses? Get in, I look at Neil and pull away from Luther. Let's go get your kids. Chapter 155. That was Gavin, Adele informs us and puts her phone away as we speed towards Clear Moon. They're following a suspicious van. Suspicious how? Luther asks eagerly. It's driving at an alarming speed and the number plate seems false, she replies. Gavin's human friend at the police confirmed the number belongs to a Mini Cooper. They will keep their distance and follow it. Under the circumstances, that is suspicious, I agree, enraged. To say that I am appalled and shocked about what I heard is an understatement. Danny Wilson was my dad's Delta. It is unimaginable that somebody who is supposed to be trustworthy can be that devious and evil. It also makes me question myself and my leadership. What kind of alpha am I that these things are happening within our borders, and I am completely oblivious? I look at Neil when he does not voice an opinion. He is staring out the window, but I notice he is incredibly emotional. Neil, check under the seat for a t-shirt, I try to distract him. If I had Liana's handbag, I could have offered you a hairbrush. Neil gives me a foul look before he grins and reaches underneath the seat. I arranged with Mike and a couple of my men to meet us at the Millers, I continue. You three should remain in the car and out of sight. No way, Neil protests. I want to poke that bastard's eyes out myself. And you can do that, I say patiently. But only after I got the children out of there. Neil looks away irritated and I sigh inwardly. I cannot blame him for feeling like this. I would have acted exactly the same if it were my family. I will lose all sense of reasoning. We continue driving in silence and the closer we get, the thicker the tension grows. Everybody is on edge and worried about what we will find when we get there. I am especially concerned about Cecilia. There, I point to Mike and his men waiting for us at the end of the block. Luther drives slower and I motion to Mike to follow us as we pass them. Give them back, Alpha, Luther murmurs as he parks the car in front of the Miller's house. Oh, I intend to, I grin and get out. Mike and the men are on my heels as I march towards the front door. My blood is boiling, and I am eager to bash Danny's skull. I do not even bother with knocking on the door, I simply kick the door open and barge in. What is going on? A man bellows as he emerges from the hallway, but he stops dead in his tracks when he recognizes me. Alpha, Danny gapes at me. What's wrong? Where are they? I demand with authority, and he retreats as I walk towards him. Who? He sounds like an owl and his eyes widen. The children, I hiss and grab him by the neck. Where are Gwen's children? Can't, breath, he struggles against my hold, and one loosen my grip just enough for him to talk. Bedroom, he squeaks. Mike, I say over my shoulder, not taking my eyes off Danny. Go. Mike and two men push past us towards the bedroom, and I drag Danny towards the kitchen. The last thing I want is for the kids to see more violence. Why did you take them? I demand as I shove Danny into the wall, and he lands with a thud on the floor. I didn't take them, he stutters and looks at me with fear. They're visiting. Gwen and her mate needed a romantic getaway and asked if we would babysit. Are you insane, old man? I hiss as I get hold of his hair and pull him onto his feet. Lying to your alpha? Are you suicidal? Do you think I would come in here guns blazing if that were the truth? Alpha, Mike interrupts us and I look at him. We found the boy. He's unharmed. Where's your wife and Cecilia? I glare at Danny. Shopping, he says hastily. With a grunt, I smash his head against the wall before pulling him closer to me. Let's try again, I hiss. This time without the lies. The fear in Danny's eyes evaporates and he looks at me with hatred. Go ahead, he straightens his back. Kill me like you killed my son. Where is the girl? I'll ignore his words. Gwen took everything from us when she left Clear Moon, he sneers. And I will do the same to her. She will feel what I felt. His words send cold tendrils through me. Danny has ties with Philip and the enforcers. There is no doubt in my mind that Cecilia is in danger. They are going to kill her or worse. Mike, I turn to him. I have this. Go, and close the borders immediately. Nobody in or out. Gather all our men and search every inch. Find Cecilia. Now. Yes, Alpha, Mike scurries away. You're too late, Danny chuckles ominously. You'll never find them. Then you'll have something in common with her. I snap his arm and he screams in pain as the bone cracks. You'll also never be seen again. Come on, I get hold of his broken arm and he yells out as I drag him with me. We're going to have a long and painful conversation. I ignore his protest and scream as I continue towards the car. Neil, Adele, and Luther are waiting for us and they all glare at Danny with anger. Neil opens the back door for me, and I deliberately smash Danny's head into the door before tossing him inside. If he moves, break a limb, I order Neil. I'll assist, Luther nods. Neil and Luther get into the back with Danny in the middle. I'll drive, I say as I open the front door for Adele and get behind the wheel. Danny exclaims as I start the engine and I look in the rearview mirror. You broke my finger. You heard your alpha, Neil shrugs nonchalantly. If you don't want me to break your fingers, don't move. I did say that, I chuckle as I drive. Stop it, Danny yells when Neil breaks another finger. One wasn't moving. Where's my daughter? Neil asks angrily. Shopping with her grandmother, Danny insists. And she's not your daughter. Ah, Danny screams. My eye. Don't worry, Alpha, Neil replies. It's still in its socket. I won't get blood on the seats. I'd appreciate that, say Drilly as I pull in by the cells. We're going to have so much fun, Neil whispers enthusiastically to Danny as he pulls him out of the car. I'm going to start by breaking every single bone in your body. Did you know that the human body has 206 bones? Then I'm going to peel your skin like a banana. Doesn't that sound like fun? This is inhumane, Danny complains as we drag him to the cells. Ve done nothing wrong. Treason is punishable by death, Adele says as Luther rips Danny's clothes off and ties him naked to a chair. And not a merciful death, either. Treason. Danny gapes. What are you talking about? We know about Philip and the enforcers. I cross my arms in front of my chest and Danny pales visibly. So, cut the crap and tell us where Cecilia is. And you better do it fast, Luther asks. Neil is very upset about it. I'm not telling you, Danny spits the words at me. I don't care what you do to me. You're a whining little and a pathetic excuse for an alpha. Marrying a human. Why, it wasn't an alpha and even he had more sense than to marry one. You're a disgrace to our pack and our kind. I don't care that you turned her into a wolf. Nothing can change the fact that she's a born human and shouldn't be a Luna. Anger boils within me the more he talks. I fight my anger, but I lose the battle. Swiftly, I extend my claws and jab them into his knee. Danny screams and yells as I twist my grip and tear open his leg. You should be grateful I promised you to kneel, I hiss as I let go of him. I wipe the blood off my hand against my pants and step back. If it weren't for that, you'd be dead. Kneel, I look at him. He's all yours. Have some fun. Thank you, Neil grins as he cracks his knuckles. Now what? Adele whispers as we walk away. Now we find that little girl before it's too late. I exhale deeply because I know it is not going to be easy. I have traitors in my pack, and I do not know who can be trusted. Chapter 156. Liana POV. I'm chewing on my thumbnail, looking out the window as we drive back to Clear Moon. I cannot decide what occupies my mind the most, the concern about Gwen and her children, or all the things I think of what I will do to the Millers if the children are harmed. I do not even want to feed them to the pigs. It is too quick and easy. Maybe I should buy a boat and keel haul them. Or make Roman candles out of them like Nero. David, watch out, Chris mind links from the car before us. There's a car approaching at a rapid speed and it's swerving. Probably a drunk driver. Stay alert. Thanks, David replies. I despise drunk drivers, I grunt and stretch my neck to try and see the car. We should get the number plate and report them to the police. If it's one of our pack members, we can sort them ourselves. Buckle up, Luna, David says, concerned. I can see it coming, and that will cause an accident today. They're all over the road and I might have to swerve to avoid collision. I mumble and double-check that my safety belt is secure. Pack member or not, if we had the time, I would have ordered David to pull the car over. The driver of the Mercedes seems to pick a lane and stick with it the closer we get, but I keep my eyes on the car. I want to give them a death stare. Not that it would help, but it might make me feel better. Oh, dear goddess, I gasp as the car passes. That's Wyatt's mother. Who? David frowns. Everybody, turn around and follow that car, I mind link urgently. Do not let her get away. Ida Miller, answer David. My ex-aunt's mother. That Wyatt, David grunts as he accelerates and follows Ida. I kind of forgot about him. I don't blame you, I get my phone and call Axel. He's not worth remembering. Are you on your way back? Axel asks when he answers the phone. We were, I reply and quickly inform him of Ida. We're going to force her off the road by any means necessary. Liana, avoid an accident whatever you do, Axel warns. Cecilia's with her. I grunt and wipe over my eyes. Okay, thanks. I'm on my way, Axel says before he disconnects the call. Listen up, I mind link my men. There's a baby in that car. Keep the child alive at all costs. We'll box her in and slow her down, David says as he speeds past Ida and gets in front of her. Don't worry, Luna, we won't harm anyone. But I'm going to, I mumble as I turn in my seat to look back at Ida. Frantically she looks around as our cars pull in at her sides. David slows down and she has no choice but to follow. But Ida must have watched Fast and Furious from 1 to 12. She slams on the brakes, swerves around, and leaves us in the dust. I exclaim. Move, David, do not let her get away, you hear me? Yes, Luna, he nods as our cars turn and follow Ida again. Get in front of her, I order. And then slam on the brakes once you're far enough ahead for her not to collide with us, and then speed up again. Repeat the process. It will confuse her, and she'll be unsure if we're stopping or going. David picks up speed and I order the other 2 cars to remain behind Ida. That way she cannot turn around again, and if she goes left or right, they will be right on her. Ugh, I complain when David stops and accelerates for the 5th time. I'm going to be sick. This maneuver is not helping with my nausea. Do you want me to stop? David looks at me mortified. Your plan is working, she has already slowed down, but if you can't keep going, I swallow hard on the bile and close my eyes. A little vomit will be vile and embarrassing, but a child's life is at stake. Hold on, Luna, David says sympathetically. I'm going to do a hard break. I brace myself and it feels like every organ and every meal since a week before pushing up in my throat when he comes to a full stop. It's working, David exclaims excitedly. She stopped and our cars boxed her in on the sides. I open the door and stumble out. What's the meaning of this? Ida huffs as she opens her window. Why are you running away? I yell as I walk to her. Liana, she gulps. I didn't know, it's Luna to you, I sneer and cross my arms in front of my chest. I'm sorry, she says flustered. I didn't, you must understand, when cars start following you, it's unnerving, and I got worried, and that's why I... Are you drunk? I cut her off. What? Her eyes widen. No, I'm not drunk. Then why were you swerving all over the road? Lask furiously. The brat. I mean, the baby was crying and get out of the car, David interrupts her babbling. Is that really necessary? She smiles sweetly. Like I said, she was crying, and I was only trying to soothe her. Get out, I hiss and her smile falters. Luna, please, she says politely. Can't we, David, help her out, I order, and before Ida can respond, David shifts and rips the door open. Ida kicks and screams when David bites into her shoulder and he forcefully removes her. But what concerns me the most is that Cecilia is sleeping through all of it. She is the same age as Connor, and I know every person is different, but no toddler sleeps through such a commotion. Especially, if they were alert and crying a couple of minutes ago, as Ida said. I unlock the back door and yank it open. With fumbling fingers, I take Cecilia out of the car seat and hold her tightly. Her heart rate's slow, I hand her over to the closest guard. Get her to Michelle immediately. She's sedated or drugged. David and I will finish her. That's my grandchild, Ida protests. She is sitting on the ground holding her bleeding shoulder as David towers over her. I don't care if you're the Luna, that's kidnapping. David, take her to our car. I ignore Ida and turn to the other guards. You don't leave that child's side until she's in Michelle's hands, you understand? I watch as the guards leave with Cecilia, and I close my eyes and say a prayer that we find Gwen alive. When Cecilia wakes up, she is going to want her mother and nobody else. What do you want to do, Luna? David asks as he runs towards me wearing only boxer shorts. Who's guarding Ida if you're here? I raise my eyebrows. She's tied up and I gagged her, he replies. I couldn't take her screaming a second longer. I can't decide if I should feed her to the pigs or burn her alive, I admit. Pigs, David replies quickly. I can't stand the smell of burning flesh. Fine, I shrug. With my current state of nausea, I shouldn't risk smells. We can burn her car. Just the two of us. David frowns. No, I point towards the road. Axel is on his way. Together we wait for Axel and more guards to pull up. Where's the girl? Axel asks anxiously as he walks to me. On her way to Michelle, I smile reassuringly. She's alive, but her heart rate is slow. I think they sedated her. Ida is tied up and we're only waiting for you. I want to burn her car and their house to the ground. Clear Moon needs a message as to what will happen to traitors. Good, Axel takes my hand and together we walk to Ida. Mrs. Miller, Axel says sarcastically as he leans against the car. Or rather, Widow Miller. Ida starts wiggling against her restraints, but only muffled sounds come from her. There, I say patronizingly. You'll be reunited with him and Wyatt soon enough. No way the goddess will welcome any of you in her realm. You're all evil and will burn together for eternity. So heartwarming, isn't it? Axel smiles at me. A family reunited. So sweet, I agree. I, Axel Silverman, Alpha of Clear Moon, find you guilty of cading and conspiracy to murder, his voice is firm and cold. And I'm sentencing you to death. Death by pigs, I add and shut the door to silence her protest. You better not cry about pork chops again, Axel grins as we walk to David. As long as we don't feed her to cattle, will be any, I smirk. I refuse to give up steak. Chapter 157. My body painfully protests when I want to move. I force my eyes open and look at my surroundings. Nothing looks familiar and the room is dark and stuffy. 4 men are in a corner engaged in a hefty conversation and my heart starts pounding when I recognize the 2 who abducted me and Neil. Neil. Did he get away safely? What if they caught up with him? Frantically, I look around but I do not see him. She's awake, one of the men grunts and my stomach dives when they walk towards me. It's okay, one says softly. You're okay. Sheldon. I squint my eyes. Something is not right here. Why is Sheldon with my assailants? Don't worry, he smiles at me. You'll live, I got to you in time. I want to yell that it cannot be true because my attackers are right next to him, but I keep my mouth shut. I am not uttering a word until I figure out what is going on. Can you hear me? Sheldon mind links me as he comes to stand next to my bed. I close my eyes to ignore him but decide not to. I should not jump to conclusions. Sheldon might very well be a victim like me. Yes, I reply. Good, he touches my hand, and I must fight the urge to pull away. It means your wolf is back. But whatever you do, do not shift. You'll tear the stitches and bleed out. What's happening? I ask. Who are these people? Don't concern yourself with them, he replies stiffly. Just concentrate on healing, I'll take care of the rest. Sheldon, one of the men speaks. We should go. Philip is expecting us. I'm coming, he replies. Just rest, he mind links as he turns to the man. I'll be back, I promise. I only open my eyes once I cannot hear their footsteps any longer. I am alone in the room with one man who is sitting in the corner. He is so fixated on his phone that he does not even notice that I am looking at him. I do not know why, but my gut is warning me not to trust Sheldon. We had a private conversation, and not once did he say he would get me out of this. He did not seem scared or intimidated by the men. It seemed more like he was a part of their group. It would be so easy to escape if I could only shift. But I do not have to be a surgeon to know that it would be a death sentence. Shifting means stretching skin and tearing stitches. Still, I cannot just lay here and wait for whatever it is these people want from me. If they did not have a plan for me, they would have left me to die. Why waste time and resources keeping me alive if they do not need for me? I need to get out of here. I need to get to Neil and my kids. Can anybody hear me? I mind link. I know I am not within pack borders and that Sheldon might hear me, but I must risk it. Gwen, is that you? Somebody replies and I am on the verge of tears. It's me, Gavin. Gavin, I sigh relieved. Damn, it's good to hear your voice. Where am I? In the city, he replies. We have been staking out this building the entire day. Are you okay? No, I admit. I'm badly injured and cannot shift. I don't even know if I can walk on my own. Don't worry, we're coming to get you, he assures me. Yes, please, I bite back a sob. There is only one man with me. I don't know if there are more outside. Be ready, he says adamantly. Gavin POV Kurt, I look at our youngest recruit. Stay here and keep the engine running. When I give the signal, get to the entrance and open the doors. The three of us will get Gwen. Once we're inside the building, we shift. It's the fastest way. Let's go. Keep an eye out for guards, I order as we run towards the building. There's one with Gwen but we don't know if there's any inside. There is a huge condemnation notice on the door of the old 4-story building. Once we are inside the building, we undress in record time and shift. We sniff around for Gwen's scent. This way, I cautiously run up the stairs. The sooner we get out of this, the better. Hold, I stop when I get a whiff of more people. Silently, I peek around the corner and notice 2 men guarding a door. Only 2, I snort. What kind of lame hideout is this? Obviously, they do not need an army to guard a wounded Gwen, but surely there should be more people. Stay alert, I mind link my men. I don't care that we only see 2, there could be more. So, no cowboy stuff. I take a step back to get out of sight and scratch the wooden floor. Are you doing that? I hear the one guard asks. Doing what? The other replies. That, the first one says when I scratch that again. This place is a dump, the other snorts. There's a reason why we don't use this place anymore. It's probably rats or stray cats. Stay here, he replies and walks our way. Move back, I link quickly and start moving with enough noise to lure the man closer. Something's down there, the guy says. I'm checking it out. Whatever, the other replies bored. You're wasting your time. I shift back and hide in the shadows while my men move further back. The second he passes me, I'll jump out, cover his mouth and break his neck. I drag his body into an empty room before shifting and walking upstairs again. Hector, the other man shouts. Is that you? Quietly we lay down and ready ourselves for an attack. Come on, man, the guy yells. This wasn't funny when you did it this morning and it's not funny now. We still do not move and wait for him to come closer. I swear I'm going to, he shouts as footsteps come our way. I'm sick and tired of your, oh. His eyes widen when I jump up and land in front of him. I bite into his throat and yank out his jugular before he can call for help. Gently, I lay the body down and we continue to the door. I sniff in the air and nod satisfied when I detect Gwen's scent. She is definitely behind this door. Get ready to attack, I order as I shift and open the door. My men lunge forward, and I watch as they attack the abergasped man sitting in the corner. Within seconds, they ripped him to pieces. Let's get you out of here, I smile at Gwen, and she inches in pain when I pick her up. I give Kurt the signal and start walking. One guard leads the way and the other walks behind me, guarding me and Gwen as we descend the stairs. Neil, Gwen murmurs as I climb into the car and make her comfortable on my lap. He's any, I say softly while my men shift back and get in. So are your children. I spoke with Alpha Adele half an hour ago. Thank you, she sniffs and closes her eyes. Axel POV fire trucks are surrounding the Millers' residence, ready to step in if the re gets out of control. Liana and Elle are standing at the gate as people stand around curiously. Did you get everything? I ask David when he joins us. Yes, Alpha, he nods. Computers, phones and lay are all safely at your mansion. There is already a team sifting through it for information and leads. We also removed all valuables and stored them for Gwen to sort through. I doubt that she would want anything, I sneer. But her children are entitled to an inheritance. Especially after what they did to them. We're ready if you are, David says. Guards and firemen are surrounding the perimeter to avoid possible accidents. Thanks, I let go of Liana's hand and walk to the front door. I pick up the can of gasoline and sprinkle it over the door and walls. Members of Clear Moon, I mind link as I take the matches out of my pocket. When I became your alpha, I swore to protect this pack and its members. This is a message to anyone who threatens our peace and harmony. I will not tolerate it. I light the match, take a step back and drop it. Instantly, aims ignite and engulf the door. I walk back to Liana and drape my arm around her shoulders. Together we watch the house burn. Now I'm in the mood for roasted marshmallows, Liana mumbles. Chapter 158. Yes, Alpha, yes, Mandy's voice echoes around me as I viciously take her from behind. My fingers are tightly wrapped around her throat, but unlike the previous girls, she enjoys it. I finally found a wild one, and I love it. Scream louder, I demand and tighten my grip. Her fingers curl into the silk sheets as she gasps and fights for air, but she does not fight me. She grinds her hips faster and I feast my eyes on her back where the markings of my whip are still noticeable. My name is hoarse on her lips and the joy of her obedience makes me come hard. You're perfect, I pant and pull out of her. She collapses and lays on her stomach, panting for air. Keep it up and you'll be my Luna. But I'm not your mate, she turns around and looks at me with admiration. The goddess and her mates, I pull her to her knees, take her chin between my fingers and kiss her passionately. I want you. I'm honored, Alpha, thank you, she smiles. And I will gladly remain by your side as long as you want me to. You get to call me Philip, I put on pants and toss a robe her way. Get dressed, my beta doesn't need to see you naked. I grin as I watch her dress before walking to the door. Mandy is not beautiful like Liana or well-toned like Adele, but she has a high pain threshold and knows how to please me. Her mouth is big and beautiful and her A*S is tight and flawless. I never had that before, and it thrills me. I will satisfy my need to hunt and kill on Fantasy Island. Mandy will satisfy my desire to be loved the way I like it. Denzel, Theo, and Sheldon look awkwardly away when I open the door for them. They have been standing here for the last 30 minutes waiting for me to finish and I know they heard us. Not that I care. I want them to hear the girls scream. I want them to understand that I enjoy others' pain and that I am capable of so much more than just killing. It keeps them in line. This was not the first time they had to listen to me women, and it will not be the last. But their awkward expressions never disappoint. You have 10 minutes, I bark, and they sheepishly follow me inside. I need to get ready for Axel's meeting. Sir, I think it best if we go to your office, Denzel glances in Mandy's direction. You think? I raise my eyebrows. If you were thinking, you would have concluded that Alpha wouldn't allow me to be here if he didn't want me to hear, Mandy surprises us all as she walks over to the cabinet and pours me a drink. Smiling, she hands me the glass and turns to the abergasped men. Alternatively, he'll kill me. His choice. What she said, I grab a fistful of her hair and kiss her long and hard. Now, talk, I slap Mandy on the ass, and she giggles as she walks away. I'm busy. We got the phone, Sheldon clears his throat. There was nothing on it. Excellent news, I smile. Now that we don't have anything to worry about, we can, what? I frown as I look at them. This is supposed to be good news, but they look nervous. Well, more nervous than usual. There was a complication. Denzel avoids eye contact. Adele's beta got away and, got away. Hiss and give them a death stare. Why was he taken to begin with? We needed the codes to get into her office, Sheldon says hastily. And you decided beta is the way to go. I yell. Like she wouldn't miss him? Do you even know what beta means? Second in charge, you dumb. He's the first person she'll call. That a plan, Sheldon defends himself. I mailed Adele from his computer asking for emergency leave. I even got the Millers to help with the children. Everything would have worked out if Denzel didn't turn all Hulk on his mate. The two of you really are a special kind of stupid, aren't you? I glare at them. I still cannot believe what I am hearing. Adele had no idea what was happening within her borders. We were in the clear until you two morons. We still have the beta's mate, Denzel says quickly. Ted is guarding her. And that's going to help how? I growl and Theo gulps when I grab him by the throat. Alpha, it wasn't me, Theo protests. I didn't touch the mate. I'll ignore Theo's pleas. Somebody has to pay for their mistakes, and I cannot kill my beta in a time of crisis. Sheldon is a surgeon and I need his skills, but Theo, he is disposable. Kill her, return her, it doesn't matter, I look at Denzel. The outcome is the same. Adele knows. She will come for us and uncover everything. She doesn't know it's us. Denzel croaks. Nothing points to you, Alpha. Has the beta and his mate seen your faces? I growl. Yes, Denzel admits. Then they'll figure it out. I tighten my grip and Theo's eyes go wider as I cut off his air supply. He starts scratching at my arm and hand to break free while he makes gurgling sounds. I close my fist and rip out his trachea. Theo drops to the floor when I let go of him. Frantically, he reaches for his throat and fights to breathe until his eyes glaze over. See what you made me do, I glare at Denzel. His blood is on your hands. Your failure cost him his life. Kill the mate, I order an extremely pale Sheldon and Denzel. I have no use for her. Remove this idiot, I point at Theo's body. And send an Omega to clean up. Yes, Alpha, they murmur. Stay out of my sight until I call for you. I slam the door in their faces and start pacing the room. I slam my fist into the wall. Everything is ruined, I vent and look at Mandy. This mistake will kill our second largest source of income. To top it all, I'll have to get rid of the Millers. They were a valuable source of information, but now they're a liability. Once the beta starts looking for the kids, Axel will put 2 and 2 together. You should attack, Mandy says softly. What? I look at her annoyed. She might be wild in bed, but that does not authorize her to have an opinion. Especially not on matters that she knows nothing of. You have a meeting this afternoon with the Alphas, right? She strolls over to me. Alphas are surrounded by their best warriors, which leaves the pack vulnerable. Everybody will see you at the meeting and cannot point a finger at you. If you wipe out the pack, there will be no survivors to implicate you. I look at her in astonishment. It never occurred to me to wipe out the pack. Why would I? When Jack was alive, Moonstone made me rich. But things have changed. Even if I move our operations to my territory, Adele will be relentless in her search for her beta's mate. And she runs to Axel about everything. He will help her, and once they expose our surgery department, it will only be a matter of time until they find the rest. They might not like abortions and organ harvesting, but they are going to hate my fantasy island. Illegal surgeries are still helping people, but Fantasy Island only benefits the person with the wallet. Mandy is right. Since Adele took over, I had to do damage control and put out res. Too much time and resources are spent on maneuvering the operations while keeping Adele in the dark. It is time to get rid of everything and everyone and start fresh. Clean up and get dressed, I smile at her. You're coming with me this afternoon. You're taking me to the meeting? She asks excitedly. Yes, I pull her onto my lap. Wear something colorful and nice. It will draw attention to me and make it memorable to everyone that I was there. And it's going to get messy. I want you to be safe. I will not disappoint you. She cups my face and kisses me. You know what will happen if you do, I growl as I push her off my lap and onto her knees. My fist bundle into her brown curls and I shove into her mouth. I lay back and close my eyes as she eagerly sucks. You're the best thing that has happened to me, I groan in delight. The rest of the audiobook will be continued in the next episode. Join us on Patreon for early access or more great audiobooks. A link is provided in the video description.